Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? It's Amanda. Today is the 3rd of August, 2024. I just put up a post on Facebook and Instagram calling for calm and asking for peace to be sent to the UK. I know there are many places around the world flaring up at the moment, but right now, 5:15 in the UK in the evening, there are some pretty serious, widespread riots happening in a number of major cities. And this has been brewing for a number of days. And I actually said I will come on and do a video within 48 hours. And then Metatron said, no, you need to get on tonight and do something. So I'm not even sure what I'm meant to be doing, other than hopefully trying to calm some of the waters, because I do believe that as a community, we are a very powerful group of light workers that can help to stabilise situations when they flare up in our world. We've obviously got the new moon in, is it Leo tomorrow? I mean, I'm so unprepared here. I think it's in Leo, which I know is heightening energies. But normally I like to come on with, a bit more prepared than this, but we're just going to go with whatever spirit wishes me to do. I'm not going to go over why these riots are happening. They've been brewing for a long time. And indeed, the issues are complex, deep-rooted, and not just confined to the UK. In the gym this morning, I was given a song by Spirit, which was Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. It's a very good song because what it talks about is generational issues, pain, challenges that often aren't addressed, aren't solved, and then it becomes like a rolling snowball, basically. The issues get bigger and bigger, particularly when governments fail to tackle them. And maybe, as in my country, you have a new government coming in with very high expectations from some of the populace. And when they can't then deliver quickly within a couple of days, which is of course impossible, I think that sense of frustration tips over. It's not the only reason, of course. There's been many things happening in this country recently, and some of the violence has started as a result of a particularly brutal knife attack on children a few days ago in Southport. But there is never an excuse for violence, and it does feel as though this fighting and violence is being fueled by agitators, paid or not. I also feel as though social media has a big role and responsibility. If you actually look at the footage, not that I'm encouraging you to do so, but I've seen some of the photographs, what strikes me is the number of people that are standing at the side of the riot, filming it on their mobile phone, I guess to put on social media. I personally wouldn't want that on my phone. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is try to bring some guidance through from Spirit. I'm going to pull some cards on it. This very much feels like a huge test for the new Prime Minister here, Keir Starmer, who's literally only been in the job a number of weeks. That's the first thing I'm hearing. It is a big test for him. Can he bring in stability or not? He did do a press conference a few days ago. I must admit, I haven't watched it. I've heard some of what came out of it. I think the nub of it was that on the back of the violence on the streets, he is proposing, and I guess it's already implemented, a new special unit within the police to tackle this sort of disorder. I think he was talking about facial recognition software, which of course is already there. And I suspect that if the violence doesn't calm down soon, that even more extra powers will be brought in. And the question, of course, then is, will these powers then stay forever? What implications does it have for peaceful protest? Of course, these are not peaceful protests at the moment. And, you know, it could be, well, we'll see. So I also feel as though there is a potentiality of the army being called in if the violence doesn't stop soon, because it feels as though there's a lot of copycat riots taking place now across many different cities. Interestingly, last night I was up in my bedroom and I was just going through some old papers, and I've got a file of my family tree, and I went through some old, I literally haven't done this in decades. I found some papers of my ancestors, and my father's side, they all come from Hull in North Yorkshire. And I was just linking into my Hull roots. I have been once, maybe twice, to visit a grave. Haven't been for a long time, and I was feeling as though I needed to come back to that town. And it's always been a place where there's been quite a lot of deprivation and poverty, as well as hopefully good pockets of prosperity and, you know, good stuff. But it's always been amongst one of the poorer boroughs in the UK. And I really felt a calling to go back there, but I also felt that it was flashing red, and it was a tinderbox, one of the tinderbox places. And indeed, just now there is trouble on the streets there, as well as other places. Now, before I pull some cards on this, in particular, I want to look at Keir Starmer and whether he can get a hold on this. I am being drawn to a particular crystal, interestingly. And the crystal is actually the one I'm wearing around my neck, but it is amethyst. So I've grabbed my first piece of amethyst that I could find in my home, and this just happens to have Merlin on top of it. But really, we're looking at the crystal itself, the properties of amethyst. Now, we know that amethyst links into the crown chakra. It links into where we can hopefully access higher knowledge, listen to our guides, receive help, receive downloads. The first thing that I'm feeling, just with regards to the general populace in the UK, but this probably is not just the UK, is blocked crown chakras. So blocked crown chakras. Also hearing the expression losing your head. You know, there's that expression about people losing their head. But the other thing from memory, as I say, this is all off the cuff, from memory, I think that amethyst is something that is linked into drunkenness. Now, obviously, it's to help maybe with drunkenness, but there seems to be the energy of alcohol fueling this as well. I'm not saying it's just because of alcohol, but I'm definitely picking up alcohol. So I don't know whether there's going to be restrictions on alcohol in certain places or in town centres if this does continue to escalate. But I'm also just picking up the role of alcohol, the role of people being under the influence. But I'm also hearing Spirit saying people being under the influence of other toxic energies. And by that, it's to do with Pied Pipers, effectively, maybe whipping up the crowd. It's also to do with those who might, let's go back to Southport. The young man, 17-year-old, who has murdered the young girls in question, is supposed to be a pillar, well, not quite a pillar of his community. He's reported as being a choir boy. And they're painting him out to be, you know, this paragon of virtue. But there's something very odd here. And I'm going to have to be careful how much I can say on YouTube. But you're going to have to put the pieces together in terms of maybe what I'm implying here. I'm not saying he didn't do it, but I'm feeling as though there is an interference with the crown chakra again. We know that there is technology which can implant thoughts and ideas and indeed actions into the vulnerable, or not just the vulnerable, into the strong as well. Because there's something very odd about him. again, another thing that's happened in the UK this week, and this is all linked, hear me out, is there was a very high-profile presenter of BBC News, the most high-profile presenter, the one who led the whole of the news channels, basically. I'm just going to take these off. They're rattling, and I think you can hear them in the mic. And anyway, he was arrested for indecent photographs, and that's putting it in a polite way, on his phone linked into children. But the weird thing is, he's called Hugh Edwards. And Hugh Edwards apparently did a cameo in Doctor Who. And so they're trying to scrub him from that episode. Well, this young man that murdered the young girls, I read last night, I hope I'm correct in saying this, if I'm not, apologies, but I'm just going on what I'm reading. He was also in an episode of Doctor Who as a child actor. And again, he is now trying to be scrubbed from that. Is that not strange to you, that this young boy was a child actor who just happened to be in one of the most popular TV series? I don't know. There's something a bit strange about it. But anyway, the girls are gone, the children are killed. And it's definitely been the spark that has ignited this. He is somebody, I believe the parents came from Rwanda, although I think they've been here for 10 years. The first thing I'd like to say on this channel is that Britain is a multicultural, multi-ethnicity country and has been for many years, and I for one celebrate that. However, some of the protest is about unregulated immigration, but we have to have a balanced perspective here. We have to remember that our last Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, was the son of immigrants. There are many successful immigrants in this country who contribute a great deal to the UK, and indeed the UK would not be as great as it is without them. My heart goes out to anybody who is experiencing an increase in racism as a result of those who are evil, for want of a better word, dark, bringing darkness to our shores. Whether it is through an inherent energy or whether, as I say, it is through manipulation via the mind. I really feel like I can't put this amethyst down. So for those of you that are light workers that are watching me, and effectively what this video is a call to action for light workers, is to try to quell and calm this energy. I feel as though crystal grids using amethyst are important and helpful, and indeed wearing amethyst, using amethyst, directing the violet flame to our cities is important. And also surrendering it up to a higher power for answers, because what has caused these protests and these riots, as I said, is complex, is multifaceted, is not going to be answered overnight. But what we would hope for and our spirit to negotiate is for negotiations to take place, for a round table effectively of different perspectives, different perspectives, people from different parts of the communities to come together to try to find a common solution that benefits all and obviously brings peace. So that is that. Let's now pull a few cards, and I'm firstly just going to pull a couple of cards for UK. I did do this actually 2 days ago because, as I say, these riots have been going on for a couple of days now. And I will say to you that the two cards that came out was a combination of tarot cards that I've actually don't think I've ever pulled before. And they were quite disturbing. But we have to be real in terms of the issues that this country has, but also many other countries have. The two cards were the Star and the Death card. And how I interpreted that was the Star effectively is a card of hope. It's a card of dreams. It's a card of healing. It's also linked into the Aquarian age. And to have it with the Death card says to me that it feels as though there is a big chunk of the population that has lost hope, that hope has died. However, hope hasn't died. Hope exists within everybody's heart and mind that remembers that it is still there. And it is our job as light workers to keep that flame of hope alive. So, yeah, the Death card with the star energy is brutal. It's a brutal combination of cards. That was for the UK generally. But we will rise from this. We will conquer these problems. We will restore balance in this country and across the world. I've said many times that UK in London holds the Earth Star chakra. It's the anchor point. And, you know, maybe the rot that is here has to be cleared. And by rot, I'm not necessarily implying any one particular thing. It's complex, as we all know. So let's pull another couple of cards today, afresh. And let's just see what we get. I'm going to pull one card for the UK to start with. And I'm going to call in the angels. I'm going to call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Gabriel in particular, calling in the energy of Jesus, Archangel Metatron, and Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I think what we're asking. So just one card, please, for the UK. The UK's energy. That is I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember what that is. Maybe it's just card number 2. Okay, maybe it's just card number 2. Oh, it is card number 2. I was thinking, is it the 2 of Pentacles? Is it the 2 of, Cups, whatever? It's just 2. Okay, this is the Psychic Tarot. So card number 2 is the Moon. So it's the Moon. The UK, it's the Moon. It's not being able to see clearly. It's veils. It's fog. It's a lack of clarity. It's not knowing what's coming next. It's not being able to see into the future. It's that Death card and the star again. It's not being able to see a way out. Now, of course, the moon can be full of surprises as well, which are positive. But just based on what's happening right now on our streets, this moon card doesn't feel particularly helpful. Now, we do have a new moon tomorrow. I haven't got my astro diary here to hand, I don't think. Oh, it's there. Let me just grab it. Because I think it's a new moon in Leo. But let me just check. And, of course, we've got Lionsgate. You see, to me, I can't even get into the Lionsgate energy right now until I've addressed this. So Lionsgate is on Thursday, which, of course, is linked into the energy of the sun and Leo and, all the lions and all of that. But right now, we're in the thick of the moon. Yeah, new moon in Leo. Okay. This is interesting. So this is from the Wee Moon Diary. This is just a poem on the page that happens to be about the new moon in Leo. It says this: the moment, let's see if this is relevant or not. I don't know. I've never even read the poem. I just think it's going to be. The moment before we become rivers in spate, feel the cloak of shadows slip from our shoulders as the moon, holy metronome, delights us forwards. The dynamic balancing, the gathering up, no longer still, no longer in, no longer satisfied with filibusters and high courts unfit to meet the crisis we are wading in. We dance the spell to make whole again and fill the decision-making places with women, the wisdom keepers. Power to kill, enslave, destroy and dominate is nothing. Power to share and create from the heart of the earth and all that is life love is everything, everything. That's by Debra Hall, and it's called Waxing Quarter. Seems very relevant. Okay. I just want to see what's on the bottom of the deck. We've got the moon. Oh, interesting. We've got another 2 card. Okay, I don't really understand this deck. So we've got 2 2s, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's just go with it. So we've got 2 2s. So for the UK, look at this. It's confirming what I've just said about amethyst. This amethyst is key for the UK. If I could give the UK a crystal right now, it would be amethyst. Amethyst helps to strengthen our intuition so we can see the way forward. Amethyst helps us to clear our third eye so we can see clearly, so we can see a way out of this veiled moon energy. There's also an ankh around this person's throat or their heart chakra, and that feels important too because the ankh, of course, links into eternal life. But let's go back to this other card. I think I've pulled this before in a political reading, and I think it might have been for the UK, maybe it was for USA, I don't know. But the point is, I think I did talk about the different colours here linked into the different parties. In my country, blue would be the Conservatives, which would be the Republicans rather. Green is green, environment. Red is Labour, our government now, or Democrats in USA, and yellow would be the Liberals. And it's this person, and they're looking in front of all of these different doors in terms of, well, which one has the answer? And it's as though none of them do. None of them do. And so this sense of just frustration, it's like, well, who is going to help us? Who is going to help solve these problems? We elect a new government and they feel as though they're just the same as the last. We feel let down by the whole system. This represents the whole bird. So what is the answer, Spirit? I mean, I can guess what the answer is, which of course is our self-sovereignty and local activism and change coming up from a grassroots level, not from violence, from just for the people being heard. But let's just see what goes with that cut with these double 2. So what is the answer for the people, please? Look. Wow. Wow. Hope. I mean, almost feel like I'm this isn't me being a magician like Tommy Cooper, magicking cards out from nowhere. This is spirit working through us in real time as I'm pulling this. Hope. Hope is the thing that we don't have at the moment. And it comes next to the card of choose wisely. That would be the 7 of Cups. And then look at that card. That is the card of power. But look, it's number 8. It's Lion's Gate. This is the man, but he's part man and he's also part lion. It's part woman, but she's also part lioness. It's us rising up from this ashes type state of despair, despondency, no hope, to finding it again. So hope is the thing that we need to be holding on to right now. Even if it feels very small in your heart, even if you feel like you're losing hope, you have to, as a light worker, try to rekindle it, okay? Right. What else is there to say? Yeah, because this hope card, 17, 1 and 7 make 8. What is 8? 8 is power, bringing back power. Okay, let's have a look at Keir Starmer and let's see how he's doing with this. I mean, whatever your politics, this is difficult for any Prime Minister. I know some would say that, has this been organised? Has it been manipulated to bring in the extra powers that he wants to bring in? I don't know whether that's true or not. Or is it just a set of circumstances that have been brewing for a long time? And I am picking up more than anything with him, before we actually get to the cards. It's like, yes, it's a test, but it's as though, please hear me out, because this isn't thing about whether I like him, I don't like him, whether I voted for him, whether I didn't vote for him. We've gone past all that now. It just feels as though there's an energy where people don't have faith in him yet. I mean, even the people that maybe have voted for him, he hasn't proven himself. So, and to be honest, even, as I say, trying not to be political here, because I'm not saying the Conservatives were any better, but I did see somebody on X, I think it was yesterday, and they said, well, the Conservatives might have been rubbish, but we had however many years, was it 15 years, and we never had this widespread rioting, and it's as I say, it's building and getting worse. I think that's maybe unfair, because he's probably inherited something that didn't happen in the Conservative period but was brewing anyway. But anyway, let's have a look at how he's doing. I don't feel that's the right deck for him. But having said that, look what's on the bottom of the deck. We've got authority. Number 4, that would be the Emperor. So maybe it is the right deck. Okay, I'll carry on with this, but I want to use another one as well. This is an opportunity for him to establish himself as the Emperor, to prove himself. Does that Emperor look as though he's listening, though, would be what I would want to say. Does he look like he's listening? It's a very closed body language. If I was going in front of that Emperor with regards to this card, I would feel a little bit intimidated, I have to be honest. But anyway, there he is. That's definitely him. Definitely means business. Definitely means business. Okay, let's just pull another couple of cards for Keir Starmer at this time. Can he get on top of this situation? Can he get on top of this situation? I mean, he will, but it's just how long it's going to take. Keir Starmer, show me his energy with regards to tackling this situation. Well, that's not great. We've got conflict and defeat. He's putting up a impression that he's fully in control, and this, but he's definitely having a wobble. This also feels as though, from having just won the election very convincingly with a large majority, this is the last thing he needed so soon. He's only been in the position weeks, and there's an energy here. I mean, he's not going to move on, I'm sure, but we've got moving on and conflict and despair. This is his lower self, which is just like, I don't want this. If I could run out of number 10 now and not be PM, I'd be quite happy to do that as well. So they're slightly conflicting cards. But as I say, I'm sure he's not going to do that. But conflict and defeat. Oh, I'm picking up. Well, this is interesting, because he's an attorney. He's a lawyer. But strange thing to say, but I have to say what I get given. And this might just be personal, in his personal relationships, like in his marriage or something. But some people don't like confrontation. He doesn't like confrontation. He's not very good at dealing with confrontation. I mean, I have heard that he can be quite ruthless. The Emperor, he can be quite ruthless in terms of, drumming people out of the party, or he took away the whip from 6 of his own MPs who voted against one of his things in the King's speech very early on. So he absolutely stamped down his authority. But very much I'm picking up there's something to do with he does that because he doesn't want to really confront the issues. It's coming down very much with leaden boots. We've also got the throat chakra here, which is communication. My fear with this is that, and this isn't just UK, that this will be used as an excuse to clamp down more on social media. This to me feels like it's social media. How we communicate, what we can communicate, when we can communicate. I'm seeing mobile phone networks being switched off. in certain situations and events. And I believe that's already happened, to be perfectly honest. I'm talking historically. When trouble has kicked off in the past, I'm pretty sure that they have the power to be able to turn off the mobile phone network, or, just stop people from being able to communicate with each other. I'm seeing that happening. Trapped in fear, we've got on the bottom of the deck. This feels as though this is literally people being put into prison for protesting. Definitely. And we've got another 8 card. So I hate to say it, but this Lion's Gate feels very tricky. Now, the point about Lion's Gate, I will say, and I am going to do a Lion's Gate video, and we will get there, guys. We will get there to the hope and the positive stuff. But we're in an 8 year. So 8-8 this year is even more powerful than it normally is. And if you think about number 8, take it away from yourself for a moment, but number 8 is about authority. It's about power. So those in power are going to be making bigger power moves than normal. So if you have a situation like this that we have in the UK at the moment, expect an iron fist to be used to clamp down on this. This leader is only going to tolerate it for so long before very real, bigger power comes in to thwart it. Water cannon even I'm hearing, which would be not something is ever used. I don't remember being used on UK streets. But it's almost like nothing is off the table to deal with this and to get back the control. And also, if a leader is feeling threatened and having a wobble, now you're not going to see that. That's just inner stuff with him. Then there can be a lashing out and an irrational response as well, an over-the-top response. But equally, what they're facing, I'm talking about the police here, is an over-the-top response. And I will say that because I'm a spiritual teacher and I do not condone violence. I would never condone violence. I will always stand up for peaceful protest, but only that. And there's a difference between holy anger and just anger. And I'm for peace, and I'm for bringing communities together, and I'm for respecting those in our country who are here, belong here, were born here, were bred here, whatever colour you are, whatever belief system you have. It was interesting that, going back to the Southport horror, that sort of has been the torch that's lit all this energy right now in the country, that I noticed, and I said this on Facebook, I noticed that as soon as it happened, there was a lot of comments in terms of people just wanting to know what the colour was of the killer, and, were they an immigrant? And to the detriment of actually the children that are being killed, and sending out peace to those kids, and Rainbow Bridge and all the rest of it. You can hear the kids in my street now. And what wasn't as widely reported is that some of the heroes that went in as the guy was knifing these kids to death were black, Indian, I'm not quite sure what ethnicity. They're British, basically, but, not white British. And I think we should always remember that. It's really important to remember that. My heart really goes out to people who are black or of colour in my country at the moment, who are facing a backlash from those who are ignorant. But as I say, I'm not blind to why people are protesting. There definitely needs to be, I'm feeling, a world council to tackle this issue of migration, because as a world, particularly with changing climate, and I'm saying it in that way, I've said this many years ago, there are going to be many places in the world which are going to become more and more less habitable, whether due to water shortages, whether due to war, And so whether you like it or not, we're going to have to be looking at where the human race lives, and the places which are, able to be lived on are going to be reduced. And that's a very hard pill to swallow and a hard pill to hear, but it's the truth. So there's not any one country or any one leader that can come up with a solution that's right. It's going to have to be a world council that tackles this, for us to get into harmony. Okay, I don't want to say too much more in this video. My job was really to come on and try to send some peace to this situation, which is what we're going to end on. But I just feel as though there's another question that I need to ask these cards. And I feel like I want to go back to an original tarot deck. Oh, I'm going to use the Christ deck as well. Just want to pull another couple of cards on... let's pull a couple of cards on the people who are rioting themselves, protesting, okay? Let's have a look at the energy of the people who are protesting. Now, of course, that is a very varied thing. Very varied thing. So it's going to be quite hard to do it. But we've got the Hanged Man, the Fool, and Justice. I mean, you see, justice to me implies government. The Fool next to government and the Hanged Man implies there are some parts of the population which are having second thoughts about the change of government. That doesn't mean that they necessarily want the old one back. We're back to, where is that card? It's like none of them are any good. We've put our hopes on a new government to sort the problems out, and they've got worse since the new government's got in. It's not necessarily the new government's fault. Sorry, that sounded pretty terrible. That was Archangel Gabriel making his presence. So the Hanged Man, the Fool, and Justice. It can also be we, the rioters, we, the protesters, are having a change of mind about how we wish to be governed, and we want a new start. It's on the bottom of the deck. The Empress is on the bottom of the deck. I am going to say something here that will trigger a few people, but I was so appalled by it. I think it was the first day of the riots in Southport, and this must have been somebody that had been paid agitators. There was a guy in the crowd, God forbid him, God forgive him rather, God forgive him, God forgive you, who was wearing a T-shirt with the 3 dead girls' faces on, somebody's daughters, aged 7, 5, however young they were young girls, and it had "Make Britain Great Again" on the T-shirt. Shame on you. If that had been my daughter, God forbid, that had been murdered, I would rip that bloody T-shirt off your back. Is that the most loving thing I can say? No, but it's the most honest thing and the most real thing. How absolutely appalling to have somebody else's daughters emblazoned across your chest trying to make a statement which was to do with throwing a bottle, or a brick at somebody else. That's not what those children would have wanted. It's not what their parents would have wanted. One of the mothers has already come out and said, please let there be peace in our communities. It's agitators jumping on the bandwagon of division and pain, and at a time when a community needed healing and vigils and just being with each other. The last thing they needed was senseless violence. This has been jumped upon. And the mother energy, the Empress is in the crowd, I'm hearing. Now, again, I put this up on Facebook and Instagram. This was during the troubles in Southport, and I think they were attacking a mosque. There was a few good things that came from this, actually. After the mosque was attacked, and I think there was a wall that had been, knocked over, etc. I saw there was a picture of the community that came together to help the people in the mosque rebuild it. All colours, all ages, just normal family men coming together to help. That was beautiful. But also, during the trouble, when it was happening, there was a woman my age, maybe a little bit younger, and she went into the crowd with a placard. I don't know whether I've still got the photograph. Let me just see if I can find the photograph. And it was obviously, here we go. It was one that she had made herself. And it says, "One race, human, hope not hate, racism not welcome here." And she's holding it up. And what you can't see is that that's a still from a little video that I saw. And this guy here tries to rip it out of her hands because she's trying to do what I've channeled before that Jesus always said he would do in a riot, which is just be this peaceful presence in the midst of all the hate and all the argument and all the rest of it. And she just holds that up. One race, human, hope not hate, racism not welcome here. And that is such a brave thing to do. I think it's such a powerful thing to do. I bet you she's a mother. So the mothers coming to help to calm this situation as well. Yeah, the mothers coming to help this situation. 9 of Pentacles. Okay, anything else to say on this before I stop? And we're going to end with a prayer. Anything else to say? I'm just going to shuffle the cards and see if there's any other message that I can get with regards to this situation in the UK. We've got the Page of Swords. It's just flipped out. What's that about, please? That's the news. With the Six of Cups, which is the past. With the Hermit and Death. This feels to me an energy of not being able to go back to the past because we're not meant to. Living in the past. All countries have to evolve and change and grow. To work out how we do this going forward, there needs to be the Hermit energy. And we need to understand that it feels like the past has gone. The past has gone. It's not coming back. This applies to all countries. Doesn't mean you can't take the best of what you are and who you've been and all the rest of it, but the past identity of the country is gone. And what do we do now? There are some hard truths to come for our world. I think this is linked into migration as well. I mean, look at these three people here coming into view, trying to maybe find a place to live, to stay. What do we do in a world where there is so much war and strife and hunger and increasingly land that is not habitable? And some of these places are in countries where you're watching. I'm being drawn to parts of USA, the fires, the heat. It's only going to get worse. I'm sorry, but it is. Some areas are going to run out of water. It's already happening in some parts of Europe. So what do we do then? What do we do then? We have to reshape the world. We have to, and I don't know, nobody knows what the answers are yet. The Lovers, there's a choice coming up. Queen of Wands, again, feminine energy is needed to birth this new. We've got the Ten of Cups, which is a happy family, but that's humanity, all sitting around a campfire, That's very Aquarian. But I tell you what's not going to get us there. The energy of despair, fear, panic, anger, retribution, revenge, ego. What's going to get us there is the energy of love, hope, forgiveness, strength. I want to say something about strength, actually. I think these times that we're living in, it's very important to be as physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually as strong as you can. And you need to think about what you can do to help yourself with regards to all of those aspects. So spiritually strong, what are you doing to strengthen your own spiritual connection? Let's go back to amethyst. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's being with like-minded souls, maybe it's just quiet time on your own. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but, strengthening yourself spiritually, protecting yourself spiritually. Physically, important to be as strong as you can. Put down the cream cake. Put down, not to say you can't have pleasure and nice things to eat. I like nice things to eat. But I'm also trying to be stronger than I am or have been, Rejoin the gym, getting on top of my diet, trying to look after myself. It's for my health, my well-being, but it's for these times that we're in. We are in a spiritual war, and you need to be as fighting fit as you can be with whatever place you're coming from. Not everybody can be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you can be the best that you can be. Mentally strong. What are you doing to keep yourself mentally strong? I've said many times, disconnect to reconnect. I'm not on social media as much as I used to be, and that is deliberate because I need space. I need that time for myself to potter, in the garden, to make a meal, to not be influenced by what everyone else is saying and doing. Come back in and check on me, hopefully, if you find me helpful from time to time. I'm always going to be here. In the same way, the people that I find are helpful, I will always check in on them from time to time, but I don't have to be online 24/7. That's not healthy. And also opens us up to external influences that can be toxic. So choose wisely and be very discerning who you're following and what you're listening to. Emotionally strong. There's so many things that we can do for our emotional health. Take your pick. We've all got something that helps us. But I'm also hearing bonds of being with people physically is important. The online world can only take you so far. Reach out to people in real life as well. During the craziest times over the last few years, the thing that's really helped me and kept me going is ordinary everyday people in the street, family members. And often I will look to them and I'll think, well, are they going nuts? Are they going crazy? Are they losing it? No, they're not. Okay, everything's all right in the world. Friendship groups, that type of thing. So let's end with a prayer. Let me just pull a card for the UK going forward. Okay, I don't want to leave us in this state. I know it's going to be okay, but let's just going forward. Let's have a card for going forward for the UK. Oh, hold on. Not all of those. One card for the UK going forward. Oh, right. Okay. Did you see that? Literally just shot out of the deck. Look at that. We've got Memories of Love, card number 6. A few things with this. I think it's a nod to the ancestors. I'm feeling a lot of ancestral strength coming in for the UK. I'm also feeling a lot of prime ministers and leaders of the past who are here to try and help. Now, I know some of these figures are not going to be ones that you liked, but what you have to remember is that in spirit, when people pass over to spirit, they see things differently. Because one of the people I definitely feel in spirit is Margaret Thatcher. I will channel her soon, yeah. Winston Churchill. But for your country, USA, it will be people like JFK. It's the obvious ones. it's the obvious people, okay? Kings and queens as well with regards to UK. But anyway, the point is, it's also family members, it's ancestors, memories of love. This feels very much about remembrance as well. Look at that amethyst coloured candles. Let's just read what that says about this card. Number 6, memories of love. You may find yourself walking down memory lane at this time. The nostalgic card could indicate that an old friend or acquaintance from the past may step back into your life. Okay, so this is definitely, it's like 6 of Cups energy, isn't it? So it's the ancestors. It's definitely what it is. It's the ancestors. I also feel it's past energies coming back to help, not to be the same. You know, I've done a lot of work with regard to the return of Camelot, Kings, Knights of the Round Table, all this type of stuff. He will return when Albion needs him the most. That's what they say about King Arthur, don't they? Okay, right, let's just end with a prayer. My daughter's door is banging. As I say, this is all very impromptu today. And let's use the energy of hope. One of the least selling sprays, and that says it all, does it not? This spray we've had for a number of years in the collection. It's not one of the more popular ones. It's beautiful. And I've often said to Tracy, why is hope not selling? Hope is in short supply. No, it's not, but it's just people don't believe in it. It's the same with this spray. Sapphire Peace. Again, they're beautiful sprays, but it's like people are like, oh, peace. What's that going to do? Oh, hope. We have to be linking into these energies of peace and hope. Okay, let's do peace first. Sapphire Peace. So, not just for the UK, for the whole world. Let's just bring in the sapphire energy of peace. And this is peace and reconciliation with each other, with our higher selves, with our ancestors, bringing back an energy of peace to our towns, our cities, our neighbourhoods. Spray hope. Asking for the energy of hope to enter people's hearts who feel desolate, who feel lost, who feel as though this is hopeless. Restoring hope, restoring that light, restoring the dream, bringing healing, igniting all that is good and holy, seeing that in each other, calling for a truce to all violence and disorder, and instead for negotiation, communication, effective governance based on trust and community, initiative, forward thinking, new earth thinking, clarity, and above all, love. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Take care. I'll see you all soon, hopefully for Lionsgate. Okay, bye-bye for now. Have a good evening. I'm going to go and get some dinner now. It's actually 18:08 as I sign off. 6:06. Next time I see you, we'll be doing 888. Bye for now. Bye. Trust the process.